Well, let's bring you some breaking news now because nearly 2 years after Sky News first investigated the baby formula crisis in the UK, the competition watchdog has just released its final report into the issue. Let's find out what their findings are now with our national correspondent, Tom Parmiter, who joins us live. So, Tom, what are the CMA saying in the last few minutes?
Well, this is a moment of vindication for families up and down the United Kingdom who have struggled with the cost of baby formula. It is a moment for every parent who has stood in the shopping aisles, in the baby aisle, trying to look at which product to get. How can they afford to buy that for the next few months, given the prices they're being asked to pay? And it's also a moment for every charity who pick up the pieces of families in crisis when they are struggling to feed their babies properly and safely. And that has been happening in towns and cities and villages up and down this country over the last few years, particularly with the rising prices. And the Competition and Markets Authority have had the baby formula industry in the crosshairs under investigation for the last year, and they have just published their final report, and it concludes that parents could be saving £300 a year if they were to simply switch to a cheaper brand of baby formula. They are calling for a radical shake-up, really, the likes of which we have not seen in the baby formula industry for decades, and that is a consequence of the crisis that we helped uncover 2 years ago here on Sky News, talking to parents. And the stigma and shame that many feel around this issue has been one of the barriers to fully understanding it. But it was described to us as a national scandal, a public health crisis for babies. And the reaction from the Competition and Markets Authority has been one in which it has been very clear what they have put out today, that parents have been getting a bad deal on this and that the price rises have not been justifiable. They are calling in this report this morning for clearer information to be made available to parents when they are out shopping, to try to make sense of the brands that are on the market and to reinforce really that all brands are nutritionally adequate. They all have to meet certain standards, despite the vast price differences that are out there in the shops. They're also saying that, as well as parents potentially saving £300 a year, that within hospitals and healthcare settings, when formula is being given out to parents, the Competition and Markets Authority would like to see standardised packaging so that brand loyalty does not enter the parents' thinking, that it is something that they just want a good product for their child, and that the regulations around this product, which have been in place for good reasons to promote breastfeeding, that those regulations do need close scrutiny. And crucially, one thing that the Competition and Markets Authority are calling for this morning is for the ban on advertising formula milk. You can't just advertise formula milk because the need to protect breastfeeding. Well, that needs to extend to follow-on milks. So the kind of milks that maybe have the number 2 or number 3 on the packages in the shops. Well, they are advertised, but the Competition and Markets Authority want to see those banned. Some campaign groups say that those milks are totally unnecessary. They are also calling for parents to be allowed to use loyalty points or vouchers to buy formula. That is something that has long been called for from many people who have taken a keen interest in this crisis. And the price promotions that some have talked about that there should be in the shops, that they should stay in place. That is the view of the Competition and Markets Authority. In response, the government have said, the Public Health Minister Ashley Dalton, for those families that cannot or choose not to breastfeed, it is vital they can access formula that is affordable and high quality. Families should not be paying over the odds to feed their babies because of outdated regulation. As I say, this is a major shake-up of the baby formula market that will have far-reaching consequences, but ultimately it's about getting parents a better deal for them and their babies.
OK, Tom, thanks very much indeed.